What's up, guys? Welcome back. In today's video we're going to be showcasing my favorite sets of Season 5, which obviously didn't really happen in Little Cup or in Catch Cup because they're not good. So we're just going to be looking at a Kanto Cup video, and honestly I think this is more entertaining than watching Catch Cup just because Catch Cup. So yeah, so let's just talk about the pronunciation of the day. It's Badoo. I mentioned I was going to do that in a previous video. So yeah, the accent is on the second syllable, Badoo. And let's just talk about these battles. So I'm showcasing different battlers. I had a lot of footage sent to me. It took me hours and hours and hours to go through them all. Then I had to go back through them again to see which ones I really wanted to showcase. And I settled on a couple individual battles from different trainers, and then two sets, which I think were my favorite sets from the entire Kanto Cup. And so I guarantee you're going to enjoy this video. So let's just jump into it. The first, shout out to RNG, I believe Anthony was his name. He's using, if I remember correctly, he's using Ivysaur on his team. So the reason this was cool because a lot of people were using Venusaur as their grass type. But you see here he's leading against Clefable and leading with a Pokemon like Alolan Raichu, which is very spammy. Very, very good at either knocking out Pokemon like you just saw there or getting shields, which is kind of the strategy he implemented to have a good set. He had a 4-1 set. So I'm just going to show you a couple battles from him, and then I'm going to show you a couple battles from a couple other trainers, and then we're going to get to my favorite sets involving the Pokemon you saw in the thumbnail. So anyways, Dugong knocks out, and then Ivysaur comes in to farm up. Gonna have to shield Icy Wind because it's super effective. But yeah, all these battles I picked out of the tons of battles that were sent to me. So these are definitely by far the best ones. So Wigglytuff comes in, but Ivysaur has a ton of energy. And so going to burn both shields with the Sludge Bomb and then land a third Sludge Bomb to knock this thing out. So that was a very awesome thing to watch. So here comes the third Sludge Bomb. It actually doesn't knock out the Wigglytuff, but one Vine Whip after that knocks it out. So that Ivysaur, so this, these battles kind of feature Ivysaur just because, a lot of people use Venusaur, but you can't forget, about Ivysaur. Plus, I also like, I like that it's not, you can get it without using an Elite TM. So anyways, this next battler, so Pat from the Pokemon Go Fight Club, which I talked about last video, shout out to him, is using a sunglasses Kanto Raichu, which is just so cool to see. Just look at those glasses. I actually think this one looks cooler than the Blastoise with sunglasses. So I'm gonna go on record saying that. It's just such a cute little outfit for that thing. And so anyways, a lot of people were using Kangaskhan in this cup because it has the Mud Slap, which you can totally farm up against, Alolan Mucks and Alolan Marowaks. But in this case, but it is kind of a glassy Pokemon, so it's not like the strongest ground user in my opinion. But anyways, Raichu comes back in and knocks it out with a Wild Charge, and those sunglasses in the hat are just hilarious. So anyways, Wigglytuff comes in to farm it down, and then Kanto, and this team is showcasing Kanto Marowak. So Kanto Marowak, of course, can beat its Alolan cousin because of the ground typing, and Pat had to rely on just the Kanto Marowak to pretty much take out the rest of this team. And so he burns the last shield here, farms up a little energy, throws a Bone Club, and then is able to farm up just a little bit more, but look how low health it has. And then a Alolan Muck comes in, which is like the absolute perfect scenario because an Earthquake will one-shot it and then just survives. Look at that health on the Kanto Marowak. But yeah, Kanto Marowak taking it home. And then let's go into the next battler. Shout out to Crazy Clicker 94, who is using Shadow Victory Bell with Leaf Tornado. And there's actually a couple good battles from this show. This was also from a 4-in-1 set. And Shadow Hypno, a little harder to get. I mean, you can get them, but you don't always just want to power up the first one you get. I have a bunch of Shadow Drowsies. All the IVs are garbage, and so I still haven't gotten one that I maxed out yet for PvP. But with the level 50, I'm also kind of hesitating. Like, I'm not powering up stuff yet until I know like what the best IVs are for when the level 50 cap comes. And so yeah, a little annoying. It's going to cost a lot more Stardust for the future cups, but hopefully I don't foresee Niantic expanding the level cap anytime soon after 50, and so we should be good for a while. But anyways, this battle was super close. You're gonna see how close it was. The Vic gets knocked out, and then Alolan Marowak comes in, farms up a little bit against their Alolan Marowak. Raichu comes in, and even though I believe it's the electric moves are resisted, but Wild Charge is just so powerful. Of course, Bone Club's super effective against the Raichu. I don't know why I'm blanking, but yeah, you can see how much damage Wild Charge does. Crazy. Oh, I'm sorry, it's a fire type, not a ground type. Never mind. Forget I said that. Anyways, but yeah, it does a lot of damage. Hypno comes in, able to get the Shadow Bone, landing on the Hypno, and then comes in with the own Hypno. He switches out, and this is how close this battle was. Able to get to a Fire Punch with the Hypno, and then the other Hypno has enough energy for its own Shadow Ball, which is going to knock out this Hypno, and then look at how close this is. So the Marowak wins by like half a turn, I think, because the Fire Spin is a 3-turn move and the Confusion is a 4-turn move. So that Hypno got that second Confusion off, but the damage is registered 1 turn earlier with the Fire Spin, which is half a second, and that's how close that battle was. It was crazy. So very close battle. Now the second game from Crazy Clicker, this is where he wins the match right here. So he goes for the Leaf Tornado, and I believe this is honestly what kind of helped him win the game. Gets shielded, but it lowers the attack on the Marowak, which was definitely needed, because watch what happens here. This Hypno is going to tank a Shadow Ball, and it's going to tank a Bone Club. Now, without that attack debuff, a Shadow Ball and a Bone Club would knock out a Hypno. But you can see how much health the Hypno has left because of that attack debuff, which was very crucial because it allowed this person to save their shields and survive a Shadow Ball and Bone Club from a Marowak. So that was just clutch. Of course, it was luck, but you know that's one of the gambles you take. But I just thought it was so beautiful how it played out. Seeing that Hypno tank a Shadow Ball and a Bone Club was just amazing, and it was a Shadow Hypno too. So even one that takes more damage. So anyways, Marowak comes in with the Shadow Bone, and then going to have enough energy for one Bone Club, but one Fire Spin away from another Bone Club. Let's see if they're able to get to it. Okay, they're able to get to it. So second Bone Club coming in on the Alolan Muck, which will do super effective damage. It's already in the red. This is very close, but the Alolan Marowak has shields. And then blocks the Sludge Wave. I'm not sure why they threw Sludge Wave. They could have just thrown Dark Pulse. But anyways, yeah. So it doesn't even need to charge this Bone Club all the way, and then takes the match. So that, yes, being able to save those shields was crucial thanks to that Leaf Tornado. Now, let's go into the first set, which we'll just say is my second favorite set of, I don't know, they're both good. I couldn't really make up my mind. I watched these battles so many times, and now I'm probably going to forget. But obviously this first game wins the lead, so very good scenario for them. But comes in, and this is the Pokemon that I talked about in the poll, Mudshot Graveler. Now, I was looking at the moves. The only Pokemon I could find that had this move that like you cannot get it with an Elite TM are Kanto Graveler, Kanto Golem, and then Kanto Diglett and Dugtrio. All four of those at one point, I don't know when, at some point in the history of this game, you were able to get it with Mudshot, and now you cannot get it. You cannot Elite TM for it, so it makes them some of the most rare Pokemon in the game. And so the fact that this person had it is just awesome in itself, in and of itself. So we're gonna see this Kanto. Now, is it the best move? I think it depends on the situation. I think in this cup it was the best move because of the Alolan Marowaks and Alolan Mucks that were running around. Having that ground quick move plus Mudshot is one of the best charging quick moves in the game. I think it's just awesome that this person had one. I'm super jealous. If anyone wants to trade me one, I'm totally gonna... Oh no, what happened? The thing's freezing up. Let me just kind of pause it real quick and then keep it going. Sorry, the animations froze on me when I was playing back. So anyways, wins that first game. But yeah, I really want a Kanto Mudshot Graveler. But okay, second game. Let's just go into the second game. And shout out to Dougiester, by the way. Again, he's been on the channel before, once. And this is a kind of interesting matchup. Shadow Lapras. Not many people running Shadow Lapras, especially in Great League. I believe it does better in Ultra League. So you don't see it that often in Great League, so it's a really interesting matchup to see. They decide not to shield the Surf. So that Surf does a lot of damage, but they're going to shield the second one, I guess, to see if they can get their charge move off. Oh, but actually the Charm knocks it out. So they actually win switch advantage thanks to that shield. So I think that was a good shield. They're going to go with the Play Rough. That does a good chunk of damage on Hypno. And then Marowak. Okay, so Marowak versus Marowak, but then they switch out. So this is the Golem or Kanto Graveler versus Marowak. It's a good scenario to be in, but interesting play here. Not shielding. They must have been predicting a Bone Club and just guessed incorrectly. But yeah, it takes a big hit with that Shadow Bone. But double charges to Rock Blast, gets the first shield, and then because Mudshot charges so fast, is able to get to another one. It was actually able to charge to the other move and then get that like bait move kind of off, which I guess since they were going to go down anyways, they could have used either one. Probably would have been better to use the Stone Edge, I believe that was what they had. So yeah, anyways, they get the shield, so that's all that matters. And then Hypno, they make a really good switch. The opponent makes a good switch to absorb this damage, sacrificing the Hypno. So a good sack swap there, and then comes back in with the Marowak. So I believe this is where the opponent actually wins the game. But here is where they could have gone. Okay, so they CMP tie here. I think, yeah, I don't know if Bone Club would have knocked out the Marowak from there, so they did have to go for Shadow Bone, but it was funny that the opponent used Shadow Bone because they could have just used Bone Club. So that was a very risky play on the opponent's part. But yeah, that was the one loss in this set. Very, very close. And here we go, an Alolan Mug. This is a pretty decent lead for a Wigglytuff, even though the Sludge Waves would knock it out. But the opponent switches into a Rapidash, and so Dougiester comes in with the Mudshot Graveler, and you're just going to see this thing. This is one of the battles where it just totally shines. So, gonna go ahead and shield the Drill Run. Very, very good shield. That was crucial. That would have probably almost knocked it out. Gonna go for the Rock Blast. Now, Rapidash has that really slow, quick move, which is kind of funny. It's a slow, quick move, but it is a cool one. It's a new move, Incinerate. It does charge probably a lot faster, maybe, but it is pretty slow. But it's cool that they got a new move. Anyways, going for the Rock Blast, knocking him out, and check this move out. Coming here with the Muck. Makes the switch just to avoid getting hit, so is saving that. Takes the Dark Pulse with Wigglytuff. That was a very, very good swap there. And note that they haven't even touched their Alolan Marowak yet this battle. So I thought that was interesting. That was a good switch. Gonna go ahead and sacrifice the Wigglytuff, okay. Comes back in with Graveler. And gonna go for the Rock Blast. Gonna go for the Undercharge because they probably realized they probably could have charged a little bit more before throwing the move. So they make a really good Undercharge. And then that Undercharge allows them to get to a Stone Edge, which will do a ton of damage to the Electrode. And then the Electrode is just not going to have enough juice to get to this thing. Of course, Graveler double resists the electric move, so it doesn't even knock it out. Is able to get to another charge move and is able to win this game with just 2 Pokemon. That was a very, very fantastic battle there. Didn't even touch the Alolan Marowak at all. Kanto Graveler just showing its dominance in that game. So that was a very, very good game. Going into game 4 here against Blue Leaf, I believe the name was. I gotta scroll my timeline a little bit more to see what we're doing. Okay, Wigglytuff versus Snorlax. Now this is a pretty good matchup. Obviously the licks are double resisted. But Body Slams will definitely do some chunk damage, and so you don't need to really shield the first one, but it's a heavy slam, so that was, oh man, that was very bad. That was not expected. Most people are running Body Slam on Body Slam Superpower usually, or something like that. Heavy Slam was not expected, but thankfully the opponent doesn't shield, and so Dougiester gets switch advantage, and so is able to come in with the Alolan Marowak. Now, of course, you don't want to throw Shadow Bone here. Just going to go with the Bone Clubs. Shadow Bone is double resisted by Wigglytuff, so it's just a waste of energy. unless you're going for that debuff, but I really don't see a scenario where you'd want to do that. Yeah, it'd be very like rare scenarios where you'd want to go for the debuff. But yeah, so anyways, gonna go for the Bone Club. Or actually not, just gonna store up to the Bone Clubs, and then has 2 Bone Clubs ready to go against the Alolan Muck. So gonna throw the first one, it's gonna get shielded, and then gonna throw the second one. Probably don't need to shield both if I was the opponent, but I guess they do. They decide to burn both shields, and then comes in with the Kanto Graveler. And yeah, this was that Alolan Muck was kind of farming a little too aggressively in my opinion. It's gonna take a huge Stone Hedge to the face. Wow, that did a lot of damage. That did a lot of damage. You almost don't even need to run a ground move with this one because that Stone Edge just hits so hard, and they win game 4. So that was a very good game. Let's go into the final game. Hopefully you guys have some snacks because this is going to be a longer video if you wasn't able to tell by now. But yeah, last game, and then we're going to get to the last set with the Shadow Omastar. Okay, Shadow Hypno lead. Not a great lead for Wigglytuff because the Shadow Hypno could just go straight Thunder Punch. Sometimes they run Fire Punch in this meta, which they do here. That's more common to run on a Shadow Hypno in general, but in the Kanto Cup, I did see a lot of Shadow Hypno still running Shadow Ball, but in this case, they had Fire Punch. So gets the shield, and then goes down with the Wigglytuff, so loses switch advantage here, but is up a shield. And so gonna come in with Alolan Marowak, and then this is a tough one because they didn't show. You probably could have not shielded that one because they didn't show Shadow Ball yet. Odds are they probably weren't running it, so that could have been a no shield there. But they just, to be safe, they shielded. But the opponent gives up switch advantage there, and then comes in with a Beedrill. So this is definitely going to be a bad situation for them. I believe they did give up switch advantage, but yeah. That's going to do super effective damage, and then going to go for the farm down here. Probably realizing that, you know, probably should just throw a charge move because that Beedrill could throw a Drill Run and do some damage maybe. But yeah, has a lot of energy. This Alolan Marowak is in a bad spot. Going to have to burn a shield. They have no choice. They decide not to burn the shield. Maybe they think the game's over because, yeah, you definitely got a shield against this thing. And yeah, I think they just figured it was game over. So they let the game end, and Dougie goes 4-1 with the Kanto Mudshot Graveler. I'm so jealous. Please give it to me. Okay, let's go into the next set. Shadow Omastar, let's go. This is going to be a very good set. Okay. All right, so Brentstar 20, shout out to him. Let's get it. Shadow Omastar hype. Now, this first game is not a good lead. Not a good lead, but this team's actually really awesome because Alolan Raticate, not many people using that, especially with a Hyper Beam. Not many people expecting Hyper Beam. They're usually expecting Hyper Fang and Crunch because they're lower energy cost, but lands the Hyper Beam. Yeah, this Raticate Omastar core, I really do like it. It is such an unlikely duo, but a really strong duo in this meta. I really do hope Niantic brings Kanto Cup back at some point because I had a lot of fun with this cup. Anyways, Alolan Raticate, yeah, definitely taking it down with that Hyper Beam, so it gets the switch advantage back because of that. And this set, Brentstar actually loses the lead quite a bit. You're gonna see. So that was another good reason why I love this set so much, or another reason why I love this set so much. So Electrode comes in, very interesting. Now they have a Shadow Omastar. They used an Elite TM to get that Legacy Rock Slide. So you see there, comes in handy. Takes a big chunk of damage out of Electrode. Electrode's not very that tanky anyways to begin with, but yeah, Shadow Omastar with Rock Slide is just deadly. So coming in with the Alolan Marowak, gets the farm. Their opponent saves both their shields for the Lickitung, which may have been a risky move on their part. Still not shielding. So yeah, they figured the Bone Club doesn't do much damage. Shadow Ball is double resisted, so they're not going to throw it, or Shadow Bone or whatever. Yeah, they're using Shadow Bone, I believe. So gonna come in with the Shadow Omastar, and this very gutsy no shield there because a Power Whip would have totally knocked it out. So that was a very gutsy no shield. They probably assumed that they were baiting, which is what they were doing, and is able to go double Rock Slide to burn both shields. And again, Mudshot is just such a good move. Such a good move to have. Gonna finally burn the last shield. This was such a clutch play here. because that opponent could have totally thrown Power Whip in the beginning and won the match. So very good guess on the shield bait and wins the first game. Let's go into the second game against a Muck, another lost lead. I mean, this is not a great lead. It's not horrible because you can at least throw Bone Clubs, but the Muck will pretty much beat you to those charge moves. Only 4 to Snarls to Dark Pulse, and Dark Pulse hits way harder than Bone Club does. So they switch out, make a great switch to avoid getting hit with Dark Pulse. Gonna absorb. Oh, but it's a Sludge Wave. So their opponent actually saw that and was ready for it and throws a Sludge Wave. But here we go. Hyper Beam. Can this person land it? Can Brinstar land it? Let's see. Well, I guess they decide to not shield and it was an Acid Spray. Very, very good call there. Gonna go for the Hyper Beam. Let's see if their opponent shields. And they don't shield, so lands the Hyper Beam again. This Raticate is just doing damage in this set. I don't know which Pokemon was more of an MVP to this player. Alolan Raticate or Shadow Omastar, because they both just did phenomenal in this set. So anyways, throwing the Rock Slide. Man, I'm really jealous of this Pokemon. I want this one too. But anyways, yeah, throws the Rock Slide, gets the shield, gonna shield this one. Probably a good move here because that Muck is within farming range, I think. So let's see if they decide to farm down. And they do get the farm down. So awesome. Awesome play there. Against Alolan Marowak. Oh man, Marowak does not have a good future ahead of himself here. Gonna burn the last shield and gonna have to take another Rock Slide. Thanks to Mud Shot being so fast. Does almost 100% damage. And they realize, yeah, that's GG's. So they concede the match. Let's go into the third game. This is much more interesting to me than Catch Cup. I'm sorry, I just do not like it. I love Kanto Cup. I can watch Kanto Cup videos still, even though we're not in Kanto Cup. I just think it's more entertaining. But anyways, oh, gets caught with a bad lead and gets caught with a bad switch. This is one of those scenarios where, yeah, when they have strong counters to your lead and your switch in, not much you can do. So they get farmed up by a Shadow Machamp, which is super dangerous. Gonna have to shield this because it's gonna be a Rock Slide. Oh, okay, not shielding. All right, that was a questionable play. Questionable play because now there is no point in shielding. And gonna go down to the Cross Chop, and now it's down to just Omastar with 2 shields against their opponent who has 2 Pokemon and 2 shields. Not looking good here. Snorlax, okay. Snorlax is a pretty formidable opponent in this situation because they have 2 shields. They can do a lot of damage. And yeah, it's not looking great here. But they're gonna fight it out, gonna go for those Rock Slides. Opponent decides not to shield. And I imagine you have to start burning shields here. Okay, Body Slam, which is resisted because of the rock typing. But still, it's a Shadow, so you know you kind of have to shield anyways. So gonna get both shields. Our only hope here is to like double Rock Slide and hope that something in the back is double weak to rock or water or something. But yeah, it's not looking great. Yeah, and they're gonna lose this game. So this is the one game that they lost in this set. But you know, what can you do against a Machamp, against your Raticate? Not much you can do there. So that happens. But let's go see what happens in game 4. This is a pretty quick battle. A Magneton lead. Very, very good lead for this. I think this was like the one lead they won. And then a Pidgeot comes in. And then, yep, Pidgeot is in not a good situation here. Because they're weak to the rock moves. This is going to suck. Aerial Ace resisted. Now, something happened here. There's a little bit of lag. You can see the wheel spinning a little bit. I don't know what the opponent was doing, what their plan was, but they shield the Rock Slide. Okay, makes sense. But then they have to shield another one, which is unfortunate because Omastar has so much energy. And then I think they just over-farmed. They over-tapped. They over-tapped or something. I don't know what they did, but now, yeah, they ended up burning all those shields pretty much for nothing. And they quit the game, which is what I would have done. I think they must have over-tapped. They were trying to do something and they just over-tapped once. So they couldn't get that charge move, or maybe they were trying to farm, thinking they could farm it down and just miscalculated. But yeah, so GG's, really quick one there. Okay, last game. All right, Lapras makes a very, very good swap. When you're in that situation, it's kind of easy to do that because Fire Spin and Ice Shard are the same duration. So you just count to 4 and swap, and you can usually, a lot of times, catch the surf on a different Pokemon. So that's what this person does. Very well executed. Takes the Sludge Wave, but gonna go for the Hyper Beam again. Can they land it? This Eradicate, man, is just doing so much damage, and they land it, and they one-shot the Alolan Muck, winning back switch advantage. That was clutch, because now they can come in with Shadow Omastar. Man, and that Eradicate just survived, barely. That was huge. Alright, so going for the Rock Slide, this Lapras has no choice but to shield. And we're getting down to the wire here. But yeah, this Lapras is not a good spot. They decide to switch in, but again, Marowak is also weak to Shadow Omastar. So not much they can do here. They're going to have to burn that last shield. And then, yeah, this Shadow Omastar is just too spammy. And then this Rock Slide will, I think, KO. It does KO. And I'm pretty sure they're going to quit at this point. Yep. So they can see the match. And man, Shadow Omastar and Alolan Eradicate. What an unlikely duo. But man, so powerful. That was an amazing set. I'm going to have to watch that one again, because that was just too good. But anyways, I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And I don't know if I'm going to make any more videos until the next season. But if you are still watching, I did see the new image of the new badges for next season, so I'm super hyped about that. Season 6 should be pretty intense. I heard the ELO rating is going to be resetting, and so we're all starting from 0 again, or from whatever rating you start at, but we're all going to be starting at the same rating. So I think that's also very exciting. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving, and we will see you in the next one.